Right. And they are particular is students today we are going to know about the impacts of green revolution and achievements of benefits of this one is about the social aspects of so today we are going to discuss a detailed discussion on benefits of green revolution. So the first point is that achievements or benefits of green revolution. This we are going to know about and increase productivity. What do you mean by increasing productivity in agriculture? By adopting new agricultural technology, green revolution has increased the productivity of major cereals especially wheat and rice. As a result of this, the output of the grains in country has increased tremendously. This has enabled India to achieve self-sufficiency in cereals. The first point regarding the achievements was that an increase in productivity. The productivity, the productivity in sense that is production of wheat and rice has been increased to a larger extent with the help of high yield varieties of seeds, chemicals, and fertilizers, which were used in green revolution. So, an increase in productivity was seen in the Indian economy where it was a symbol of green revolution. So, in this way, production has been increased to a tremendously to a larger extent where it made a survival to the peoples. So the first point regarding achievements of green revolution was increased in productivity. The next point is accumulation of surplus produce. What do you mean by accumulation of surplus produce? The farmers of India, the farmers of India are following the productions of multiple crop program since 1967, which enable us to raise the buffer stock development. Means here accumulation means storage of food grains for future use. That is called as accumulation. That is accumulation of stocks, accumulation of goods, accumulation of capitals, accumulation of capital populations. So in this way, the accumulation process of storage of goods is increased with the accumulation of green revolution, which led to future storage of food grains. It's supporting the government for the future programs by which it can distribute these footprints to those weaker sections of the society in times of needs and if any disasters or incidents occur. So, our country was one of the largest countries having youth population, which has supported the production of footprints for the accumulation process. Accumulation means storage of footprints of buffer stock. So earlier, when we were having a war in Indian economy with anti-war production of zero footprints, today India was serving the whole nation directly or indirectly with accumulations of footprints. So in this way, our country was independent in production of buffer stock and led the production of agricultural smoothly. And today also the production is too much highly and where it has maintained the buffer stock of the country. So productivity of agriculture was surplus, and accumulation means keeping stock of goods, or you can also call as maintaining the buffer stock also. So India has become rich in preservation of buffer stock. The next point, shifting from subsistence farming to commercial farming. Means what we mean by subsistence farming. Subsistence farming is the farming where a farmer or a household can produce agricultural goods. Those agricultural goods which were produced for self-consumption is known as production for own needs. So in India, before independence, on eve of independence, and after independence, the maximum agriculture which was carried on, it was on the basis of production for self-consumption. What do you mean by production for self-consumption? Production for self-consumption means the goods and services are produced only for self-consumption. So it was the basic economy of India where production was done. And slowly this production for self-consumption was converted into commercial farming. Means what do you mean by commercial farming? Commercial farming, that farming, the excess of productions are produced in agricultural economy led to the surplus to the market economy. Means the self-consumption which was earlier produced for own subsistence, now this production supported to the market, by which in the market there was surplus of footprints, where these footprints were bought by the farmers to have a sales in the market. So in this way, the subsistence farming was converted into commercial farming. So Indian agriculture from the time of Green Revolution, that is from 60s, from 69 and 70s, it has been proved that there was a larger extent of increase in productivity where it has accumulated the surplus output, and this surplus output of accumulation of footprints or signals led to the increase in buffer stock, and this green revolution led to the changes, that is reforms, which were earlier was for self-consumption. Now it has been changed to commercial farming. Means the production for self-consumption has been converted to the production for commercial purpose. Means the agricultural goods are now produced for commercial production. So in this way, the achievements in this way, impacts of green revolution, achievements or benefits of green revolution, you can see. And the next one is facilitated to the multiple croppings. Means green revolution led to the production of food grains with multiple croppings. Different types of crops were grown in seasons, by which the different seasons crops led to the increase in employment opportunities, led to the increase in production for commercial purpose, and it also led to the different productions of different crops, where it has increased to a larger extent. Means it has facilitated, the green revolution has facilitated the multiple cropping system. So the achievements were good, by which there was a larger extent of productions, accumulations of buffer stock, and this accumulation has converted the self-consumption process into commercial process where the excess or surplus of production of agricultural goods were sold in the market, and this change of production of agricultural goods from self-consumption to commercial and commercial to multiple profits. Means a single farmer who has a different plots of land is used to produce different types of food goods by which his income would remain perennial throughout the process. So in this way, there was a larger extent of which we have gained from green revolution. So the achievement was good. Now we are going to know about the shortcomings or risk of green revolution. What were the shortcomings or risk of green revolution? Restricted to limited crops and areas. Means the green revolution was no doubt an good policy launched by central government through law planning process, but this was to a limited area. For example, the limited area which were covered under this process were Haryana, Punjab, and few states of Uttar Pradesh and Andhra Pradesh. Means these areas were covered under the green revolution. So in this way, a limited scope was there for limited states. Its overall progress by green revolution was not seen throughout the country. So here, in shortcomings of green revolution, you can see restricted to a limited area. Means there was a restriction of high production of goods, high yield varieties of seeds to a limited areas, or we can call as few states of India was benefited with production with output of green revolution. So Haryana, Punjab, and few districts of UP were also counted as a production in which green revolution boosted the economy and few districts of Andhra Pradesh. So in this way, green revolution was only to a limited area and to a limited extent. Next one, a wide gap between rich and poor farmers. The risk or shortcomings of Indian revolution, that is by green revolution, was only restricted to rich farmers. The, this benefited, the benefits was not good by the small farmers. Means in sense, the small farmers were not too much benefited with the production of green revolution because due to shortage of land, limited areas of land, and the XY high yield varieties of seeds were possible, chemicals and the pesticides were possible. So the poor peoples were unable to make a huge amount of investment in production of inputs, where this decreased the production of crop. So in this way, it has been decreased, or we can call it as it is costlier to small farmers, and there was a difference among the rich farmers. The rich farmers having a large plot of land by which they have large investment, and this investment leads to the future capital formations. Means excessive production was achieved by the farmers who were indulged in process of green revolution, where they were holding a large or surplus land, where rich farmers gained a large revenue from green revolution, and this green revolution made a huge benefit to large farmers in comparison of small farmers. So in this way, the shortcomings or risk of green revolution was that restricted to limited area and limited states, widened the gap between rich and the poor. The farmers who were poor were at their constant stage, but the farmers who were rich, the farmers who have followed the policies of green revolution, they have benefited much. So in this way, this green revolution led to the production and it has benefited to rich farmer more in comparison to poor farmers. Environmental degradation. No doubt there was a huge benefit by the green revolution. It has supported the Indian economy, but the green revolution with new innovations of technologies, machines, pesticides, chemicals, and fertilizers, which were used for the process of production of agricultural goods, led to degradation of soil fertility also, where the earlier productions that was in traditional process by which manures was one of the of major source of manures was a major source by which agricultural goods were produced. But by using DAP and other chemical fertilizers, this led to degradation of the soil fertility and pesticides also, which enter the human body and it has an side or we can call it indirect harmful effects led to the problems of humanity. So in this way, there are some goodness and good features of green revolution, and in the same way, there were some features which were seen which were not good for Indian economy also in production of green revolution. So in this way, you can know what were the shortcomings or risk of green revolution, that is restricted to limited crops and areas and widen the gap between rich and poor. So in this way, this gap has been reduced to a larger extent, but there was a gap. And environmental degradation, which the environment was has somewhat differentiation with previous in comparison to innovations of green revolution. So, what were the other problems? What were the other problems? Now we are going to discuss expansion of institutional credit to farmers. Means that the program which was launched by the Green Revolution was the farmers should be benefited much. But this was not happened too much to a larger extent. The benefits were only restricted to larger farmers. The loans were given to a larger farmers, where the small and marginal farmers were exempted from this benefit. So in this way, this process has some failures also. Provisions and expansions of irrigation facilities. No doubt, agriculture is one of the institutions which needs irrigational facilities. Means the crops which were grown by the farmer was totally dependent on irrigational facilities. So there was a larger problem of irrigational facilities. So in this way, there were larger expansion of credit institutional also, but this institutional was not up to date for giving support to all types of farmers. So in this way, there were some drawbacks also, and irrigational provisions, its creations of irrigational facilities was increased, but it was not increased to a larger extent, including the system of agricultural marketing. Means slowly and slowly, with innovations of green revolution revolution, the market facilities were increased, where the markets of agricultural goods were increased, the agricultural productions were also increased, and this led to the production of green revolution and benefited farmers also. The expansion and storage of warehousing facilities means there was shortage of agricultural research institutes also and training also. Here, agricultural productions which has been done, there was a shortage of reservation by stores. Means the agricultural surplus goods where the farmer possessed these goods were unable to store by the farmers for the future use. So there was some problems of storage and there were some problems of marketable where market institutions were not seen overall the economy. So in this way, these were the problem, other problems than achievements. Promotion of agricultural research and trainings means what the agricultural needs in future era was that it needs research. Any sector that is primary sector or secondary sector or tertiary sector after planning process, after execution process and production process, it needs research for future innovations by which this production process can be carried out by the Indian farmers through perennial way in a short years. So there was no such types of research institutes or training centers can be imparted between farmers. So in this way, there was a problem which were seen. Fixing MSP, that is minimum support price. No doubt, this was a new production for the Indian government by Indian farmers. There was a support price by the government, but the contribution of MSP was not in a satisfactory view in regard to the farmers. Means the farmers were given MSP no doubt, but the MSP was not satisfactory to the Indian farmers. So in this way, this green revolution was entirely a good innovation for Indian economy, but these innovations led to the future development. It has increased the share of GDP by agriculture sector. It has given an employment opportunities also. It has increased the buffer stock also. So there were few positive points of green revolution and few negative points in green revolution also, like limited areas were developed, limited scopes to limited area, some benefited by this process, that way the rich farmers, the small farmers would not benefit by the innovations of green revolution because it needs large amount of investment and the poor farmers were unable to make an investment in agriculture sector. It is mainly benefited to rich farmers and other ones which led to decline or we can call it as other points which have been seen overall in economy was there was a shortage of finance to agriculture farmer. There were shortage of agricultural research institute and training centers. There were shortage of marketable surplus and irrigation facilities. So overall, we can see what were the positive programs and what were the negative results achieved by green revolution. So in this way, what was the impact of green revolution impact of Green Revolution was what the achievements or what the benefit you have achieved, that is our Indian farmers has been achieved by production of Green Revolution was now discussed. What were the shortcomings or what were the shortage of Green Revolution? Those points has now been discussed. So you all are requested to listen this point and go through the concept by which you can make it clear your concept. So impact of Green Revolution means the effect of Green Revolution by which you can see how much to a larger extent your Indian economy has been benefited and to how much to a larger extent the Indian economy has reduced the gap between rich and poor. No doubt, the if there is a plant, it will have positive plants also, positive output also, negative plants will result to negative output and negative input also. So, in this way, the Green Revolution was a good in overall economy by which we can see the whole nation, that is the buffer stock has been increased, increase in share of GDP, increase in share of national income, increase in share of investment, increase in share of decrease in share of unemployment problem, and the Green Revolution also supported to landless farmers who were having who were not having any piece of land. They were supported by different plots of land which were given by central government and state government. All the holdings which were scattered throughout the different parts of the society, means through the villages, those scattered parts of the land was bought under single head, which was called as consolidation of holdings. So these all new packages, new training centers, new research centers, marketable place, and irrigation facilities. These all packages, that is land tenure system and different projects of institutional credit, no doubt they were introduced in our country in 1960s, and this led to the production of Green Revolution, and this has given when this has given a stop to the country where the total population is directly or indirectly is dependent on the footprints of India. So you go and see the benefits and what are the risks related to Green Revolution. So in this way, you try to understand or go on to by different books or net by which you can understand these concepts. So in next class, we will discuss about the industries which were developed by Indian government, that is called as the government of India, which has followed the mixed economical pattern of running the government under three-tier structure after independence. So in first 5-year plan, that is 1950, 1st April 1951, agricultural was given as an important plan, and in which this 5-year plan was developed with development of Indian agriculture, and in second importance was given to agriculture sector only in first 5-year plan, and in second 5-year plan importance was given to industrial sector. So the next discussion would be on industrial sector, and a debate was that, and that debate which has been explained, which will be explained in next class related to agriculture sector. The WTO has given a stress. And what type of stress? That is, WTO has given a stress where a subsidies should be removed from Indian agriculture sector by which the farmers can be support themselves instead of having a support from government. So this debate will be continued in next class. Thank you.